All right, Mayor, we're live. Ready for
All right. Thank you, Susan. We certainly want to welcome everyone to the Vinton Town Council meeting for this Thursday evening, April 5th. And as always, excuse me, we will start with the roll call.
Councilmember Mullins. Here. Councilmember Stovall.
Here.
Vice Mayor McCarty.
Here.
Mayor Gross.
Here. All right. As usual, we will have our moment of silence, which we use here in the town of Vinton so that everyone can pray or meditate as they see fit. During your thoughts and prayers this evening, I hope you will keep this country, this community, this council meeting in your thoughts and prayers, and also our friends in the Ukraine. And also, while we're standing, I'll ask you to stand for that. We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Vice Mayor, I understand you're in charge this evening of that?
Yes, sir. In Keith's absence, I have asked Councilman Stovall to do the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Okay, so if you will stand for those items, please.
Will you face the flag, please? Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, again, welcome to our meeting. You folks probably know the agenda is available at the door, and along with the agenda is our rules of conduct that we will use this evening, as we always do. So I would ask everyone to respect those. Council, next item is for you, and staff too, I guess. Is there anything on the agenda that you need to change or postpone? Hearing none, we will accept the agenda as presented. But as we move on to the consent agenda, tonight we have a few important items. Of course, the minutes of the regular meeting of March 15th. Also, the resolution that would appropriate funds for the scrap metal to the Public Works budget. Also, a resolution for the ARPA funds, as we have discussed in the past, and a resolution for the funds for the personnel adjustments to match the current job market. Are there any changes or additions to the consent agenda?
No, sir.
Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion for approval.
Go ahead, Sabrina.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'll second.
Okay, motion by Vice Mayor for approval, and second by Councilman Mullins. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thanks. Did I miss something already? Oh, upcoming community events. How could I miss that?
I messed you up because I had Keith
Oh,
on.
that's all right.
Pledge, and I
You
messed
do
up.
everything. You do everything. I'm glad you're here.
Okay, we have lots of events going on in Vinton. Rosie's Entertainment, April 8th, 9th, and 15th and 16th. We have Jared Stout Band, Jordan Harmon, The Frequency, and Star City Pianos. You can also go to Rosie's website and look up the entertainment as well for the date and the exact times. Lancelot has open skate from 7:30 p.m. every Saturday, so take the kiddos over there and wear them out. Twin Creeks has every Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday they have bingo, and trivia is on Thursday, both starting at 6:30. Friday the 8th and Friday the 15th, they'll have special music. The 8th is TJ Ellis, and the 15th is Adam Markham. The Hero Expo Car Show is Saturday, April the 9th, 5 to 9, and that is downtown Vinton. Then it's time for Easter already, so we're going to have Easter in the middle of all this. And then, as always, we have the Dogwood Festival at the Billy Bird Field Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There will be arts and crafts shows. There will be crowning of the Queen, and of course the parade on Saturday. So the crowning of the Queen is at 12 at the Municipal Building, and then the parade is after that at 2:30. And the arts and crafts shows 10 to 4. Also, we will have Pizza with the Police on Thursday, April the 28th from 12 to 2, and that'll be at the New York Pizza located at 708 on Hardy Road. So join the police and get a slice of pizza and a drink for $4, and you can talk to the police and get to know them. They are a great group of guys. They'll help you out with anything, so I hope that it's well attended. And I think that that's all I have for tonight. I do want to thank Chastity for always getting this together for me. And I can't remember all the stuff, and she's very good at supplying it for me.
She is. Thank you. Once more, the Pizza with the Police, police is what day?
It is
28th.
Thursday, April the 28th, from 12 to 2 p.m. Now, that will not be on your list that you get emailed to you, so y'all make sure you write that down,
Okay,
because you don't want to miss it.
great, thank you. Well, I appreciate you reminding me. We would not want to jump over and forget all those things. A lot going on in Vinton, that's for sure.
Do lots of stuff.
Okay, we'll move on to our awards, unless there are any other announcements. Anyone else have things going on? Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I
sir.
have one more announcement.
Okay, cool.
Sergeant Caldwell.
April the 30th, the day of the Dogwood Parade, from 10 to 2 p.m. at Benton Kroger, 915 Hardy Road, will be the DEA drug take-back event,
Oh,
where you can bring and drop off any unused or unwanted medications, as long as there's not any syringes.
Great. Thank you, sir.
It'll be, set up right out front of Kroger,
Okay. April 30th.
April 30th from 10 to 2.
That's important.
Yes, it is.
I always
Thank
think, I've got these, what am I going to do with them?
Yep.
And they're old and whatever.
Yeah, that is important. Good, thank you for that. Thank you, Chief.
Apologize, sir.
Oh, no, that's that's what this is all about, getting the word out. So, yeah, appreciate it. All right, any other announcements? Mike, you have anything else? No, I'm only kidding.
I'm good.
Okay, good. All right, we will move on to the awards and presentation. And tonight, very special presentation that we'd like to talk about. We will start with proclamation. And Lori, I think you've got the proclamation, right?
Yes, sir. Whereas the health and safety of all citizens is important to the prosperity and well-being of our families and communities, and whereas our children are our most valuable resource and will shape the future of the Vinton community, and whereas child abuse is considered to be one of our nation's most serious public health problems, and the majority of child abuse cases stem from situations and conditions that are preventable in an engaged and supportive community, and whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and how we can prevent it, because prevention remains the best defense for our children. And whereas displaying pinwheels during the month of April will serve as a positive reminder that together we can prevent child abuse and neglect and keep our children safe. And whereas the partnership between the General Federation of Women's Clubs, Vinton Women's Club, and the Vinton Police Department have worked together to raise awareness and promote the prevention of child abuse in our community. Now, therefore, I, Bradley E. Gross, Mayor of the Town of Vinton, and on behalf of Town Council and all of our citizens, do hereby recognize the month of April 2022 as National Child Abuse Prevention Month in the Town of Vinton, and call upon all citizens of the Town of Vinton and surrounding areas to work together to prevent child abuse. In witness thereof, I have set my hand and caused the seal of the Town of Vinton, Virginia, to be affixed on this 5th day of April, 2022.
Thank you very much, Laura. I appreciate you reading that. And I kind of sprang that on her at the last minute, so great job. We appreciate that. Catherine, would you like to come up and introduce the group that you have with you this evening?
She needs a stool. Got a stool.
There we go.
I'm going to put it down here.
That's fine.
On behalf of the GFWC Women's Club of Vinton and the Vinton Police Department, we would like to thank the Town of Vinton for allowing us to plant our blue and silver pinwheel garden. And thanks to the Vinton Police Department for partnering with our club members with the planning to promote National Child Abuse Awareness Prevention Month. Mother Nature had some other ideas today, and we really thought we were going to put it off till tomorrow, the actual planning, but we saw just a little bit of a break in the heavy rain, so we went out to take some pictures and just decided to keep on going and keep planning. So, and we also had 3 youth that saw us doing this from over at the library and came over and helped us. So we got them all planted this afternoon for everyone to enjoy all the way through the month of April. And we want to thank the police department for installing the banners this afternoon before it started raining. Thank you. The General Federation of Women's Clubs is celebrating over 130 years of service and volunteering. In all 50 states and more than a dozen countries, our members work locally to create changes. We have a club in Ukraine, and we so want you to pray for them. I just threw that in. They are all now refugees, and their country is in such despair. I can't imagine, and I'm sure none of us can, but continue to remember them. But anyway, in all 50 states, our members work locally to create changes. GFWC Club women are mothers, sisters, wives, daughters, doctors, teachers, CEOs, and community leaders who are dedicated to enhancing the lives of others through volunteer service. Similar gardens have been planted all over the United States during April, including our organization's headquarters in Washington, D.C. Every year, Club Women raise awareness of child abuse and promote healthy childhoods by planting these gardens. Prevent Child Abuse introduced the pinwheel in 2008 as the official symbol for great childhoods. The pinwheel reminds us of our own childhood and the fact that all children deserve to be happy and healthy. In addition, GFWC has earned a reputation as a powerful force in the fight against domestic violence. GFWC adopted as our signature project to work in bringing hope to victims and survivors of domestic violence and abuse, and we began this project in 2008. Each year, over 4.1 million referrals are made to child protection agencies involving 7.4 million children. A report of child abuse is made every 10 seconds. And neglect is the #1 form of abuse. GFWC members care because we all play a role in children's lives and because the costs are just way too high. We must step up, stand up, speak up, and report it. Together we can prevent child abuse because childhood lasts a lifetime. Again, we'd like to thank the town of Vinton for allowing us to observe Child Abuse Awareness Prevention Month by displaying the pinwheel garden and banners at the municipal building flower gardens, and the Vinton Police Department for partnering with us. The Pinwheels for Prevention campaign provides a unique opportunity for all of us to work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute to promote to the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, nurturing environment. Prevention remains the best defense for our children and families. All children deserve great childhoods because our children are the future. Thank you for helping us as we are building community, building hope. Again, this year, we've also added support and encourage awareness of autism by wearing blue for World Autism Awareness Day, which was actually April the 1st. Autism awareness is about celebrating and recognizing people on the autism spectrum, as well as researching and fundraising initiatives which promote inclusion for people with autism. The world's understanding of autism as a disorder has changed drastically over time. Until the second half of the 20th century, only people with severe symptoms were diagnosed with autism, and those who were diagnosed were often institutionalized. Autism was believed to be the result of poor parenting or vaccinations instead of understood as a neurological disorder. Thankfully, special events such as the Power of One March, awareness campaigns at schools, and autism self-advocacy have increased the world's understanding and acceptance of autism. In 2007, the organization Autism Speaks created Autism Awareness Day. The UN passed a resolution to adopt the holiday, and in 2008, the day was celebrated worldwide, as it has been ever since. On April the 5th, even though it was April the 1st, today we celebrate the members of our communities, families, and the world who live with autism for their diversity and unique talents. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Catherine. Again, Catherine, thank you for all that information, and we appreciate you and all you ladies for this effort that you make. We've every year had pleasure of having you with us, but we know y'all work on this all year round, and so thank you for raising the awareness of child abuse and autism.
Thank you. Several of us have other meetings we need to go to, so we're going to be leaving, but thank you so much for everything you do for the town of Benton. It's a great place to live and work.
Well, thank you.
Well,
Catherine,
thank you,
would would you like this proclamation? Thank you.
They're gonna take a picture.
One
Okay.
picture in the blue.
Okay.
Wait a minute, guys.
We'll take one picture. Thank you, Chief.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Let Catherine stand up here.
Yeah.
You're cute.
No, not your torn jeans. I was talking about your height. I wanted to make sure you got the
So
same.
either way, she just,
So I stand up here and everybody else stands.
Just picking on you a little bit.
Mike wants me to stand beside him. Don't let him pick on you, Mike.
Scrunch up.
Turn side saddle. Turn sideways.
Thank you, ladies.
thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. I think the next item is citizen comments. Don't see any citizens here, so I don't guess you've received anything in your office, have you, Susan?
No, Mayor, have not.
Okay. And with that, we'll move on to the next item, which is the public opening of franchise bids. At this time, I will ask the town clerk to open and read any bids that we have received for a competitive cable franchise to operate a cable system to provide cable service within the territorial limits of the town of Benton. If you would, please.
So, Mayor,
Cable system to provide cable service within the territorial limits of the town of Benton. All right, and with that, we will move on to our public hearings. The first one for this evening is to set the real estate personal property and machinery and tools tax. So I will officially open the public hearing, and as usual, we will start with a report from staff. Cody, I understand you have that report?
Yes, sir.
Please, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council. The item before you this evening involving the real estate, personal property, and machinery and tools tax rates for calendar year 2022 is open for your consideration. The real estate reassessment that occurred this past year showed an 8.55% increase for the town's real estate. Once you remove that new construction, you have approximately 8.3%. The calculation is shown in your packet, recommended in that rate as well. And then also the town grants a 50% reduction in assessed valuation of one motor vehicle owned and regularly used by a disabled veteran, subject to certain qualifications. We are proposing that the town continue that as well. If you have any questions, happy to answer them.
So just to clarify then, there's actually no change in either rate?
There is no change in either rate. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so I will ask for public comments. Don't hear too many, or none at all, actually. Council, you have any questions or any comments? No? With that, I will officially close the public hearing, and we will move on to the actions that we need to take tonight. And Council, you have before you an ordinance which would set the real estate rate for calendar year 2022 as described by Cody.
So moved the resolution.
All right.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Stovall, second by Councilmember Mullins. Susan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Mullins,
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall.
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty.
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. Thank you, Council. The next ordinance you have before you would set the personal property rate for the calendar year 2022 as described by Cody. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor to accept the ordinance as presented, and a second by Councilmember Mullins. Susan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Mullins.
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall.
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty.
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. Okay. Our next public hearing for this evening is concerning the issuance of bonds in the amount of $710,808. And this is for capital improvements. So I will officially open the public hearing. And again, ask staff for the report. Cody, I think you have that one too, right?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Council was briefed on this matter at its March 18th meeting, but this is the issuance of bonds in the amount of $710,808 for our share of capital improvements at the wastewater treatment plant owned by the Western Virginia Water Authority. This is our portion of those improvements that we are going out for a Virginia Water Facilities Revolving Loan Fund. We've been approved for this. It's also contemplated that this loan would transfer to the Water Authority upon the transition of the town's utility system on July 1st of this year. So, if you have any questions, happy to answer them.
Very important detail. Thank you for that, sir. Any public comments? Nope. Council, you have any questions, comments? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Council, the resolution is for the issuance of the bonds as described by Cody. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by Councilmember Mullins, second by Vice Mayor McCarty. Susan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Mullins,
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall.
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. All right. Our next public meeting will be for comments concerning an ordinance for the competitive cable franchise. We just opened the bids, so I will officially open the public hearing, and we will ask for a report from staff. Mike, I think you're up for this one, right?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is, well, one of the most important things that Town Council has authority over is the streets and roads under Article 7, Section 9 of the Virginia Constitution. Under the Cable Communications Policy Act of 1984, as amended with lots and lots of FCC decisions and regulations, we have one incumbent cable operator who has substantially built out their system in within the limits of the town. That's Cox. Second, and other cable providers are allowed to petition the town council for access to the rights of way in order to compete with them. And this is important because it helps to ensure that there is some competition in terms of prices and service within the town. And even if there isn't, even if the second one doesn't build out completely across the town, the person who's already there is probably going to have uniform rates across the board. So it's helpful even places where they don't overbuild. In any event, Glow Fiber had contacted us and asked us to please advertise for bids, which is something they're allowed to do under state law. They submitted a bid that was just opened. I've negotiated that with them. It is under substantially similar terms to our existing franchise with Cox, which is again required by federal law. So it sort of is what it is, but I can answer any questions about it that you'd like.
All right, thank you, sir. Let me ask for public comments, and we know there's none since there's no one here. Council, Mike mentioned that he's open for questions. If you have any questions or comments.
I don't think so.
Okay. I might just say this might be a good time for me to mention, as I always do or frequently do, like you said, this is important. You know, this is one of the powers that council has, and this did not just come quickly by us tonight. We have heard presentations on this, and of course we have the professionals, our attorney, looking into all this. So although the action tonight may seem to happen rather quickly, it's one that has been studied, and council is familiar with everything. So, like you said, it's important. But we've been through this, so we understand what's going on tonight. If there are no other comments, I will officially close the public hearing. And council, the ordinance that you have before you would grant the franchise as described by our attorney this evening.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Stovall, second by Vice Mayor McCarty. Susan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Mullins.
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall.
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. Mike, Town Attorney's listed next on our agenda. Didn't know if you had anything else, but we always appreciate you being here.
And I appreciate being here. Mr. Carroll sends his regrets, but Mrs. Carroll rates.
Well, we completely understand. And by the way, he has schooled you well in the ties. You guys do a great job. Yeah. All right, with that, we will turn it over to you, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mayor Gross, members of council. I have no briefings for you this evening, but we do have 3 items that are requiring action. The first 2 of which, this kind of the Coney Sexton show tonight, so I will turn it over to the Assistant Town Manager for these next 2 presentations. Thank you. Mr. Mayor and members of council, once again. The first item up for consideration is the adoption of a resolution setting the allocation percentage for the personal property tax relief in the town of Vinton for the 2022 tax year. So Personal Property Tax Relief Act, PPTRA, was first established in 1998 as a statewide program. That was to help sort of combat the rising prices of vehicles at the time. In 2004 and 2005, the General Assembly sort of capped or set a block grant amount that each locality receives. The town's share of that block grant is $203,000. $203,096. There we go. Numbers are hard. And that has been the same amount since 2005. So once again, each year, with the help of the Roanoke County Finance Office, we calculate how much of that block grant, that $203,000, gets allocated amongst the vehicles, amongst the personal property of our citizens garaged in the town. So this year, based on that calculation, the rate for the town of Vinton is 48.42%. That's based on the PPTRA allocation model that the state has developed. And I would be lying if I said I fully understood it, but we rely heavily, and we thank the Roanoke County Finance Office for the work that they do for us in calculating that. And to give you some perspective, this rate is pretty much in line with what we see in a number of other localities, and it's really just 1% different from what we see in the county as a whole with their rate. So this is sort of the amount of relief that our citizens can expect on their personal property tax. So if you have any questions, happy to answer them.
Council? Okay. Thank you, Cody. We appreciate that presentation. Council, you have before you the resolution that would set the allocation percentage for the PPTRA, which has been around. I didn't realize it's been that long, since 98.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And unchanged since 2005.
How about that? Okay. So you've heard the presentation. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion by Councilmember Marlin, second by Vice Mayor McCarty. We call the roll, please.
Councilmember Mullins?
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty?
Yes.
Mayor Gross?
Yes.
Mayor, before we go forward, just a part of being on the Finance Committee and conversations that we've had, you know, we realize right now in the state that the budget is held up, they've gone back to work and that. One of the things that's a sticking point right now is that if you remember back when Governor Gilmore got elected, he got elected and did a very admirable job on no car tax. And that's something that has come back to the localities. And that's one of the things right now with the grocery tax that they're debating in Richmond as we speak, is that same thing of, once that happens, then does it hold, naturally, what's the effect of localities? So, that's one of the sticking points. I had a great conversation this morning with someone, and that's exactly what, we were talking about. Right. So anyway, just to kind of, for the purpose of, just so citizens can know.
Right. Right. Yeah, I appreciate that, Mike, because you're right. Those things do have an impact on localities and upon our budget.
Sure.
And so I appreciate that very much. Thank you. You're next. Right. Back to Cody.
And Mr. Mayor, I do apologize. I realized I may have overstated the PPTRA ever so slightly. That 48.42% is not necessarily what the ratepayers should expect their relief to be, but that's sort of the percentage used to calculate what the discount is. Right. Because there are limitations on the value that it can be applied to, $20,000 and lower. So just wanted to correct that and not overstate.
Well, we appreciate the clarification, but I think council has an understanding, so I don't think we need to do any voting. or anything.
Excellent. The next item, this is an item that the Finance Committee has been sort of relieve some budgetary pressure on the operations, and paying off debt, prepaying off debt is one of sort of the easiest ways that we identified to do that. So what you have before you is this master equipment lease. It can be paid off twice a year in April and October, and so based on staff's recommendation, we're putting forth this resolution at this time to go ahead and pay off this debt in April so that we can feel the full benefit of those debt payments at the beginning of the FY23 fiscal year, which will begin on July 1st. It also helps to make the budgeting a little bit cleaner, that we're going ahead and doing this payment now as opposed until waiting for the October opportunity. So by going ahead and making this prepayment, it does save about $38,000 in the budget, as an ongoing operational savings. So what you have before you is the budget and the transfer for the $146,000 to be paid out of the stormwater fund on this debt. And Susan has provided a revised resolution that should be in front of you. So we would ask that you adopt that revised resolution. We had to change some of the account numbers at the last minute. So no material changes to the $146,000, but just some technical changes to the account numbers, the debits and credits.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, council, you have any questions? Cody?
Not a question per se, but I was going to ask about how much a street sweeper is, because I don't think the citizens will understand. I see it on this
Yes.
paper, but citizens don't understand the amount of, they
And
see it, and you see it a lot. I mean,
Well,
that's
it's
something that
And it's
citizens
required.
see that
Yeah.
Gotta have one.
actually is out
It's
there
not like
all
you
the
decide
time.
not to sweep your street, you gotta have
Right,
one.
right.
Yeah, it's
Right.
to your point, it's a very visible vehicle. It gets run constantly every single day, and to Mr. Stovall's point, it greatly helps us on some of our stormwater management best practices on the back end. So it's a vital piece of equipment, and
And it breaks all the time.
Well, there's a lot of hydraulics there.
It does.
it gets a lot of love.
It does.
A lot of love.
A lot of love.
A lot of attention, right? Yeah. But, no, those are good points. That's a valuable piece of equipment for us.
True.
Very good. Thank you for that. Any other comments, questions? No? If not, we'll entertain a motion for the revised resolution as presented by Cody.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Stovall, second by Councilmember Mullins. Susan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Mullins?
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty?
Yes.
Mayor Gross?
Yes. One more.
Well, good evening.
good
Happy to,
We were.
Cody allowed me to have a little opportunity to chat with you this evening. Cody does a great job. Thank you for all those. I've just got one quick item for you this evening. We briefed previously at a council meeting, and Roanoke County recently has also taken action to authorize this, but have before you this evening a resolution amending three memoranda of understanding with between the town of Vinton and Roanoke County. These MOUs are regarding Vineyard Station, the Gish Mill, and the East County Vinton Hotel project. We created these performance agreements between the developer, the town, and the county to assist in those projects overcoming some financial challenges to get underway. And they are based on real estate assessments, where both the town and the county are providing through the Roanoke County EDA a reimbursement based on the increased property values for those sites. What we were unable to determine when we originally created these formulas is the timing of the reassessments after the construction is completed. And so we established a timeline of executing the agreements upon completion of the project, but the reassessments are sometimes lagged until the building permits are fully closed. So the first instance of this was the Vineyard Station project, and once this past January, we realized, well, this was the first year that they could request the reimbursement through the EDA, and we did the calculations, and the reassessment didn't capture the new building valuation. It was lagged just on the timing of the reassessment in the project. So what we've done is went back to Roanoke County to request that they amend these MOUs to delay each of the projects an additional year. So the performance agreements aren't changed, it's just the mechanism for which we claim the property assessment increases and return that back through the EDA and on to the developer. So rather than do this step 2 or 3 times down the road, we went ahead and we're requesting to act on all 3 of them at one time. And again, it doesn't change the amount. It doesn't change the total amount that we're reimbursing the developer. It doesn't change the length of the term. It just delays the initial year by an additional, the 3 years, it delays them by a year to capture the full reassessment. So I have you, again, before you this evening, the resolution to authorize these 3 MOU amendments, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Just for the purpose of the citizens that may be watching, what's the estimated start date on the hotel, would you say?
I think at this point, we're looking maybe a late summer to break ground. The developer has been moving, been doing a lot of site and conceptual planning. We've been delayed on a couple of occasions with just availability of engineers for the site planning, and then there has been some delays on pushing forward on the financing packages. There's all indications our project's still on track. We're just slightly delayed from our original time schedule.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good question. And just to clarify, I believe you said Roanoke County has already taken action on
Yes,
these
sir.
3.
I don't recall the date off the top of my head, but it was their last Board of Supervisors meeting, and I attended that meeting and answered a few questions on behalf of the Roanoke County Board of Supervisors, but they unanimously approved the amendments.
Cool. Okay. Any other questions, comments? No. Thank you, sir. Okay, council, you have before you the resolution which would authorize the town manager to execute the 3 MOUs concerning the East County Benton Hotel, Vineyard Station, and Gish's Mill.
I make a motion to adopt.
Okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor McCarty, second by Councilmember Mullins. Susan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Mullins?
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty?
Yes.
Mayor Gross?
Yes.
And I just have one update for you. It's been a while since we've kind of discussed the West Virginia Water Authority transfer. So I just wanted to let council know that conversations are ongoing. We're in the stages of doing attorney reviews of the transfer agreement itself, and doing asset inventory on both the physical assets but also the property that we transfer into the Water Authority. We finalized a number of the mechanisms of this. It's now just in the legality of a written language. There will be some public communication pieces that will be coming in the near future, targeting May dates for potentially starting to open up some valves to release Carvin's Cove water into the Vinton system. And so we'll be notifying the citizens and the public, general public, about those announcements. We've met with all of our large water users in the town, had conversations with them, so they're aware of the transitions. And then there will be a phase where Water Authority staff actually start responding to some of our water calls for breaks to shadow our staff so that they know where the valves are and you know, they have a good account of the mechanisms in place in the town of Vinton system. So that will also get underway at some point in the month of May. We're also starting to plan some activities for the final signing of the transfer agreement, likely in early June, and we'll discuss more details with council as those dates are finalized. But we're kind of on the home stretch at this point. All the, I think the heavy lifting, at least of the negotiation piece, has been done. Now it's kind of dotting the i's and crossing the t's. I won't get into the complications of the billing. It's pretty complicated on how that, but we do have all that worked out as far as when the town's last bill will be issued and where the payments will be received and how all that transition happens. And we will be communicating that to our citizens, our customers. They will receive that as an insert into their bills on the last two bills that come from the town. And they'll also be receiving some postcard information from the Water Authority itself. So we feel like we'll be overly redundant to try to communicate that through various social media channels, direct mailings, stories with our dear friend Debbie. There'll be a lot of information being passed out over the next 6 to 8 weeks as that transition kind of hits the home stretch.
Great. Well, certainly appreciate that update. That's one of those things we can't over-communicate it for sure. So I particularly appreciate all the efforts that are being made to, to communicate with our citizens about that. And Debbie, we always, as always, want to thank you for all the coverage that you give us. So that's very, very valuable.
I will say it's been a pleasure to work with the Water Authority. They've been wonderful at each step of the process, very cooperative, and they're getting really good at this process because they've acquired a number of systems in the recent few years.
Yeah.
But so it's been really good. It's a big task. It's a lot of detail involved, but they've been very, very gracious and helpful along the way.
Great. That's always good to hear. Council, do you have any questions for Pete on that? No? Okay. Anything else?
That is all for me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, we'll move on to the reports from the committees. Finance Committee, I suspect is you. Right?
Yes, sir. Fifth time's the
Pete, you
charm.
leave for 1 week and see what happens.
Might take another week.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Finance Committee met on March 15th. And as already discussed at the meeting this evening, the items on the consent agenda this evening were discussed and were moved forward. So the major highlights coming out of the Finance Committee involve the January financial report summary and then the cash balances. So when looking at the revenues and expenditures as of January, we're still in a very good position. When looking at our two operation funds, the general fund and the utility fund, both are running in a position where revenues are coming in higher than where we would expect them to be year to date, and expenditures are running lower than where we would expect them to be year to date. So both of those operational funds are in the green on both counts. So we're looking fairly strong. All of our major sources of revenue are also running fairly strong so far at this point in the year. So Finance Committee will meet again next Monday and should have the February financial report. So we're starting to get into that part of the year where with 6, 7, 8 months of history, we'll be able to do some really solid projections of where we'll end up at year end, and if there's any sort of mid-year projects or mid-year appropriations to start targeting some of those projections. We should be getting more and more comfortable making those recommendations as they come up. Any questions on that piece? And then lastly, really this is a good news story as we've all been watching this over the past years. Cash position of the town is materially unchanged from December into January. We have $10.1 million of cash on hand, $4.6 million of restricted cash, and then $3.3 million in investments with the town. So we would expect those numbers to be roughly unchanged until we start to hit the spring collections, May in personal property, and then June of real estate. So the phenomenal thing about our revenue picture at this point is that our two largest collections, the May personal property and the June real estate, have not happened yet. So we're already running ahead, and we've not received those payments. So very good news from the town's financial picture.
Awesome.
That is a pretty picture. I mean, you can't, you look at the pandemic, you look at the things that we've gone through, managing it, managing the town and how the town's managed. That's a pretty picture.
Yep.
I mean, it truly is.
Yep. And Mike, as a member of the Finance Committee, you know a lot of work goes into just presenting those reports and stuff, so we appreciate that. So, yeah. Okay. Council, any questions or comments on the Finance Committee report?
Excellent as always.
As
Good job.
always. Yes, we're very blessed, there's no doubt. Okay, or the mayor section,
We do need to approve the financial report.
okay, let's do that. Sorry about
That's
that.
okay. That's
All right, so we do have the report as presented by Cody. Is there a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice Mayor McCarty, second by Councilmember Mullins. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
reminding me. Just a couple of things I wanted to mention under the mayor's section tonight. I'd like to congratulate the Vinton Area Chamber of Commerce and the town of Vinton staff for a very successful Senior Services Expo that was held on March 22nd. And man, they really had a crowd. I don't know the exact numbers. I don't know if any of you guys have heard or not, but it was crowded all morning. It was quite a successful event. Debbie, did you hear any numbers? No. It was a big crowd, though, wasn't it? It was huge. So we want to congratulate them on a great event. Also want to thank everyone that attended the Route 24 Corridor Study Open House that was held on March 23rd, in which we saw some just concept drawings. So appreciate everyone coming out and getting the full information on that. And also on March 23rd, we had in town something called Coffee with a Cop. What was that about, Chief?
Yes, sir. So on the 31st, we kind of started, starting to warm up, so we started our events especially. This is something that we were planning with the Vinton Chamber of Commerce. The idea came into fruition during, the pandemic where we couldn't have such things, and we were sort of waiting for that to occur. So that was the first event where we had Coffee with a Cop. And the first event was hosted by Bojangles. And the idea behind Coffee with a Cop is to not just have a conversation with citizens, but to actually connect with people and to get that face-to-face value that you can't replace through virtual settings or a town hall session where you're more or less talking to a crowd versus talking with them. That provides that one-on-one opportunity where there's no agendas, there's no topics that are pre-written. It's all conversational pieces of things that are important to that individual citizen, and they get to meet each individual officer that's present at the time and share that and share their optic and their views and common bonds. It's a wonderful event. This one in particular was very popular. It was at one point the dining room was completely full, so we're extremely blessed for that. We had, of course, some media personnel there as well. But it's really designed to promote conversation, and what better way do you do that similar to a holiday where you would do it around food?
Yeah.
And of course, this is one of many, so we'll do this one, and as Vice Mayor mentioned, we'll do the pizza with the police
Yeah.
this month, and next month we'll have something, and so on and so forth. And our idea is to capture different days of the week, different times because of your workforce and how people can attend. So we'll do weekends as well, but it's very simple. There's no agenda, nothing's pre-written. The citizen leads the conversation, and as do we. And we just, hopefully, we can continue to capture that connection. You can't replace that bond that when you make a connection and
Yeah.
establish trust.
Yep, thank you, Chief. That sounds great. Mike, I think I saw you there.
Yes,
Yeah, I thought it was a great event.
me too. Yes, sir.
Yeah, nice crowd. Well, thank you, sir. That sounds like a great plan. Appreciate
sir.
you guys doing that. Yeah. Okay, and just briefly, I'd like to thank the Vice Mayor. She went on a visit with us to the Boys and Girls Club, and that was fun, wasn't it?
It was.
You get to learn a lot. So
Great club.
Great, yes, a great activity here in town. All right. And with that, I will move on to the council section. Vice Mayor, you have anything further this evening?
Yeah, I got a couple of things. I want to thank the town manager for sending out the YouTube of the state of the town address. That was so cool to be able to see that.
Yeah.
And all, I mean, we were there, we were already excited about it, but to watch it again, to see how they did the cut of what we were talking about there, and then go back to the manager, town manager, it was awesome. I've shared it with several people that, and gotten lots of good comments on it, so, and anytime we're paying off debt and it looks good.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a good day, good meeting. Great things are happening, so I'm excited about that. I too wanted to thank the folks that came out to the meeting for the bike and pedestrian information. I think it was well attended, and it was some great comments, and the staff, of course, Nathan, you know, they did well, so as well as the consultants. So
Sure did.
it was a meeting that could have gone either way, and it went the good way, and it's the way that you know we want things to be handled in Vinton. I'm going to try personally to visit a restaurant here in Vinton and be able to say my kudos to them. So this time my girlfriend and I went to Our Daily Bread. We went for breakfast, but I do want to let you know that they are now open from 6 a.m. in the morning till 8 p.m. Wednesday through Sunday. So they've extended their hours. It was delicious. It was packed in there. We had to wait for a table. So it was awesome. So I'm not going to single out any certain restaurant. I'm going to a restaurant every time, and I'm going to promote them in my comments. So go. It's great.
Awesome.
And the last thing is I wanted to thank the police department with the letter that we received that Chief Drummond shared with us for the participation in the funeral for the Covington police officer, Caleb Ogilvy. But anyway, thank you. We appreciate that. It's we know you guys do great, and other people notice that as well. So
Thank you, ma'am.
Great comments. Thank you, ma'am.
And that's all I have.
All right. Councilmember Mullins, you have anything further this evening?
I'll just also throw out that if you need somebody to go with you to those
Yeah.
restaurants,
Oh, yeah.
I'll be happy to do that.
We'll just get a table.
Volunteer for that.
That's right, we'll volunteer for that one.
Agree.
And yes, like you said, paying off debt and then getting the great report in the same night, you can't beat that. Ann would be proud. Very good, Cody, thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm just excited for everything going forward. We've got a lot coming up the pipeline, and it's
Yes,
exciting.
Yes, yes, very good. You're exactly right. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Stovall, anything
Yes, sir.
further?
I mean, just naturally, everybody said it. I mean, the Coffee with the Cops, I thought was a great success. And you know, the chief made a comment that we could actually carry over to Thursday night's meeting about the bike and pedestrian. And that is, when you get into those meetings, like we had there, Coffee with the Cops, but then also at the Wilmore, you get individual citizens' comments about other things in the town that, you know, you want to hear. I mean, you know, and of course, we got some great comments about the 3rd Street light, and then, you know, I thought it was really, really interesting to the fact that, as Sabrina said, was the fact that when it goes negative, it's the citizenry is not educated.
Yeah.
But when it's positive, they're educated. And when they came in, the presentation that was given, and it was like, you know, once they understood that that we're in the planning stages. Secondly, how we're going to pay for it. And then thirdly, there are things, naturally, people ask you questions, and you have to say, no, right there, I'm not really quite in favor of that. That's that little box we had down here on Pollard Street, whatever that thing was. But anyway, I thought those were great meetings. But I think, once again, back to what makes this town, finances, employees, and where we are, is the fact that we do a great job. We do y'all do a great job. We take accolades for it in educating people, and really, all avenues that we cover, even to the fact that we're on Facebook because of the pandemic, of course, and I think that's all they really can ask from us, is that fact. So anyway, my hat's off to everybody, but I thought they were two great events. I really did, and looking forward to other events, and going to the restaurants, I'm with you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Our Daily Bread's got egg salads off the chain, so if you want to go in there at lunchtime, I'm an egg salad guy to make egg salad too, but they got egg salads off the chain, so anyway.
It was delicious. It truly was. But I'll go ahead and make the reservations. Y'all just come on down.
Okay. That's good.
I'll get the table.
Yeah.
And you guys are invited as well.
Yeah, sounds good. Mike, to your comment there, as I mentioned in a State of Town, the conversation around the town of Vinton has changed over the years. Thank goodness, it's very, very positive, and this is true. I've had people comment several times, man, y'all got a lot going on and a lot of good stuff happening, a lot of good plans and everything, and how do you do that? What has changed?
Well, that State of the Town they need to pass out a Grammy Award for that thing. They can make him look that good, especially on YouTube.
I don't know. Somebody might get slapped. But
it was great.
It was great.
It was awesome.
Great.
I'm so proud to be a part of this town.
Yeah,
it was something else. We miss Keith tonight too. Keith, if you're watching, I miss you.
Keith who? Who did we miss?
Yeah.
I'd get that in.
But I often tell people in response when they mention how well things are going and all of that, it's really quite simple. For one thing, the Lord has continued to bless us. Right. Secondly, we have a very powerful professional staff that does a good job.
Absolutely.
They do an awesome job. And then, as you alluded to, Mike, you always got town council to take credit for everything.
Right.
So you got the whole thing, man.
And we do have to say with Sabrina, of course, naturally with Keith not being here, I know there's a little setback there. He's got to take care of something in the morning, but you open your business last Saturday and you're giving it to gas and you want to, and the next thing you know, but anyway, I do agree with him. We do miss him.
Yep. We hope to keep that as well. So anything further to come before council this evening? Nope. If not, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to
I'll
leave.
second.
Motion and second. All in favor signify by leaving. Thank you, folks. God bless.